DC fans over the last 10 years have experienced a hyperbolic hell across multiple studio heads. James Gunn is a new DC studio head tasked with building up DCEU again. And if he fails, DC fans are going to experience another 10 years of that hell.
You blow this?
Oh yeah, they're not gonna blow this.
But if they do,
Yeah.
you blow Batman vs. Superman, DC Films dead for the next 10 years.
So the question has become, will James Gunn be able to win over a doubtful fan base while also competing with one of the most successful franchises ever? We can only hope.
I don't want to go backwards. I'm tired of going backwards.
Talented writers have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be.
The Zack Snyder era is ending, and not 1,000 moments too soon.
Once we had Batman in the movie, we knew, I kind of pretty much knew if the universe could support a Superman and Batman, then it could support the rest of Justice League.
Someone's over at DC says, hey, we want you to run the studio.
So would that be something you would be interested in? This is very early. And I was like, nah.
It's ironic because you could actually make an epic movie about DC live action properties from over the last 10 years. The story is as grandiose as it is tragic, at least for fans. But to understand how we got here, we're gonna have to go down multiple paths. So the first one we're gonna go down is James Gunn. James Gunn's story, we're gonna start off from when he's a child. When he was a kid, he was a little bit of an awkward one, as he likes to tell it. He didn't get along very well with kids, nor his parents. Even his parents had a hard time connecting with him. So his parents took him to go see a therapist, and the therapist suggested that his father actually take an interest in one of James Gunn's hobbies. One of those hobbies happens to be reading comic books. So his father took him to Chicago Comic-Con. And James Gunn said that it was one of the best days of his life. But one of the most cherished memories that he had was when he was walking up the stairs of that Chicago Comic-Con and he saw his father reading a comic book. And that's something that stuck with him forever.
But I'm also reading for pleasure because I like reading comic books.
Despite his love for comics, James Gunn turned one of his other hobbies into a career. That hobby was filmmaking. Eventually, he would find a way to morph both of them into a career. He's hired to make the MCU's riskiest projects, characters relatively unknown in the Marvel Universe. But James Gunn ends up knocking it out of the park. And he helps catapult these characters into pop culture stardom. He becomes a cornerstone in the MCU, helping Feige build up phases 3 and 4. Marvel feels unstoppable at this point, in large part due to James Gunn. However, on the other side, we have DC, which is just getting started, and things are already not going as planned.
The needed human element and the emotion behind the character of Superman, I kind of felt was a little bit lacking.
These guys are older directors, and that's fine. But they ain't as in depth with these characters as I am. And they ruined the Joker. They ruined him. We can recreate this. We can make Heath Ledger's character even edgier by giving him tattoos and gold teeth and all this to make him hip. He listens to rap now. Oh my God, the Joker's a rapper. What is this?
a good movie you can see anywhere. And I did not want to, because you vote with your wallet. And this movie will make a shitload of money and doesn't deserve it. And I disagree with the Rotten Tomatoes 30%, which is, it should be lower.
Zack Snyder comes on and he opens up the DCEU with Man of Steel. And Warner Brothers decides that they're going to give him the whole shit. They were going to give him free reins to do whatever he wanted. But who is this guy and why did Warner Brothers decide to give him the keys to the kingdom? It's important information to know because it plays a vital role in the coming culture wars within DC. Snyder grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut with his mother, who constantly nurtured his artistic side. As a child, he began filmmaking just like James Gunn. However, he also spent a year in England studying painting at the Heatherley School of Fine Arts. Even some of Zack's first films were divisive. In high school, he would make an unflattering documentary about his school's administration that would cause him to get expelled. He managed to get into the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, though, where he attended with Michael Bay. Although it's not clear exactly what Snyder's hobbies were in his early life, during his feature film debut of Dawn of the Dead, he cited himself as a comic book film and horror film enthusiast in his youth. Although he found success with Dawn of the Dead and 300, his following films would be divisive. Watchmen would be criticized for changing the ending from the source material, Legends of the Guardians was a critical failure, and Sucker Punch was just a complete disaster. Despite these failures, many could not deny that Zack was a visual genius. At his heart though, Snyder is a rebel that wants to go against conventional norms. His flair for the dramatic, putting heroes in uncompromising situations, and doing it all in a bombastic way. It's these characteristics that fans latch onto.
Batman can't kill, right? So Batman can't kill is canon. And I'm like, okay, well, the first thing I want to do when you say that is I want to see what happens.
It's a box office failure, at least compared to Marvel, where Marvel is releasing banger after banger, doing very good at the box office, but then you have Batman vs. Superman come out, two of your biggest characters within your universe, and they can't even crack $1 billion. Meanwhile, Marvel is almost doing that with characters that are relatively unknown. So it's at this point that the studio starts to think, maybe they need a pivot from Zack Snyder, they need a new vision, they need a new direction. There's an issue there though, because Zack Snyder is already making the Justice League movie.
Snyder did such a lackluster job with both Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, and he's still being allowed to direct the Justice League movie.
Things are happening there. They're not happy with what's been going on, so they're making some changes.
A quick minute, make a video about Zack Snyder leaving Justice League due to his daughter committing suicide. Man, I cannot imagine what Zack must be feeling right now.
Taking over for Zack Snyder is going to be Joss Whedon. He's the director of the Avengers. the Buffyverse, Firefly. He's done amazing work.
With an extra $25 million spent, as well as 2 months of reshoots, word has been circulating that Joss Whedon's influence on Justice League is not just limited to a few post-production final touches.
Joss Whedon has been given his writing credit inside the Justice League movie.
We're here at the world premiere on Hollywood Boulevard.
You got the Justice League. They're going to be right here on this stage.
I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I'm just giving you a warning right now. There are a number of key scenes from trailers that did not make their way into the movie.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that this film has got so many plot holes, it looks like it's made out of Swiss cheese.
Fortunately, there's quite a bit wrong here. Right from the get-go, it looks wrong. It looks off.
I loved Man of Steel and I loved Wonder Woman, and I could not wait for this film to come out. And it sucked. It sucked.
This one is all about some scenes that you might see in the film's promotional campaign in the trailers that did not make the final cut of the film.
Our fans petitioned for a director's cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I'm not surprised though. Yeah, it just keeps going. It just keeps going, man. I mean, I'm looking, I'm going to scroll. Even Mr. McTeen, he fucking tweeted it out. David Ayer tweeted it out. Diane Nelson, she tweeted it out. A lot of people are tweeting this out. It's just, it's going nuts right now.
Insiders tell The Hollywood Reporter no announcement of a release of any such cut is imminent.
Release the Snyder Cut was an interesting movement because they were trying to achieve something that had never really been done in Hollywood before. And even if it had been accomplished, it had taken decades for it to happen. No one thought anytime soon that the Snyder Cut was actually going to come to fruition. So DC's experiencing this turmoil over here. It's clear they have no idea what they're doing or how to build up this universe. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Marvel hitting its first misfire.
Renowned director James Gunn has been fired from the upcoming movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 after old tweets re-emerged in which Gunn makes inappropriate statements.
James Gunn needs to be investigated.
Oh, this is a very complex situation with politics being very much in the mix.
It's clear that James Gunn was joking, but guess what? The fact that he was joking does not make it better.
Not at all. James gave a long statement taking full responsibility and explained that back then he was trying to be a provocative artist. He also said that he's not that person today.
Tens of thousands of fans are urging Disney to rehire James Gunn as director of the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. As of Monday morning, a Change.org petition had collected more than 185,000 signatures.
With James Gunn being fired, he ends up getting hired that October for DC. They essentially tell him, whatever project you want, you can have. And you have James Gunn just entering DC as a director at this time. But this is the Walter Hamada era.
Walter Hamada has now been put in charge to oversee Warner Brothers comic book movies.
Having Walter Hamada, who's someone who knows things, he knows how universes work. The Conjuring universe with Annabelle, also working with it. Right. He knows this is what the continuity needs to be.
Aquaman is hitting theaters soon, but does it sink or swim?
Wan's Aquaman is perhaps the most earnest superhero movie in many months.
Aquaman has done the impossible, made over $1 billion, making it the most successful DC film of all time.
Shazam is DC's most joyful and sweet movie since the days of Christopher Reeve's Superman.
I don't even know if the DC Cinematic Universe is still around, and I don't care to know, and it doesn't need to be around, and Shazam's a testament to that.
Even taking taking special cases out, this was the lowest opening for any movie in the DCEU, which at first glance would appear to be not great.
This article comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker origin movie, a go at Warner Brothers.
Had a screening here in Sydney last night with some amazing friends, and I can honestly say, hands down, geeks and geekettes, this is my most favorite film of the year / one of my favorite DC films by far.
This is one of the best movies of the year, which honestly I did not expect.
Joker has crossed the $1 billion mark at the box office, the first R-rated movie in history to do so.
The hell are you supposed to be?
Then came the rumors of disastrous test screenings followed by hasty reshoots.
Now, if this is the type of stuff that DC fans are going to start getting, Disney, go ahead and keep pissing your talent off.
You say it's actually really good. It's a very good movie. James Gunn somehow was able to bring the worst superhero movie and make it a very good one.
It's good as long as you only went for the entertainment. The story was completely...
And it just seems to me like it's just throwing so much out there with no real vision.
Fan base is divided. They want to see Zack Snyder's vision continued. There's no clear direction on what Walter Hamada is going to do. Despite DC's current state, it feels like the release of the Snyder Cut movement is maybe going to die down until two things happen.
I think that this movie has such a high chance of being released, especially with HBO Max. I mean, what better way to get people to subscribe to your new service than like, hey, we're going to release, it's probably not going to be called the Snyder Cut, but a director's cut of Justice League.
Theatrical release, or is it going to be on HBO Max, or what? But I don't think it's much of a question that it's coming, it's just a matter of when.
Then they got Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot's Batman and Wonder Woman in the DC Cinematic Universe to co-sign.
Trending online, HBO is launching a new streaming service today called HBO Max.
A lot of these platforms, Disney Plus, Apple Plus, when they drop for the first time, they have content available, absolutely. But so far, I look at that platform and say, I wish we would have had more originals from the start.
You guys should just show it.
Yeah, I think we should.
I reckon it too.
No disagreement here. I think that, I don't have I can't show the movie right now, because it's still a little bit to do, but there is this. I have this. I don't know if this is helpful.
Oh my god.
See that?
Oh! It's coming! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! HBO Max! Oh my god! Oh my god! Guys, I'm not lying! I'm not lying! 2021! Oh my god!
Guys, it's here. Justice League. We got an early screener. This is our non-spoiler review.
Yes, it's a lot better. In the Snyder Cut, there's actually character development and substance that leads up to bigger sequences throughout the film, and you get answers to questions that you didn't really get answers to originally.
And it really does prove a lot of people wrong who said that Zack Snyder could never make a great DC film. By the way, I was one of those people. I was wrong about the Snyder Cut never coming out, and I was wrong about the fact that Zack Snyder didn't get these characters or couldn't make a great DC movie. He has made a great DC movie, and you can see it streaming starting tomorrow on HBO Max.
The release of the Snyder Cut only emboldened fans, and it gave rise to a new movement.
This is damn near 1 million fucking tweets.
That whole thing's a mess right now. The whole thing is crazy with Restore the Snyderverse and whether or not we're going to get more. And I think right now, The Rock is the person that everyone should be focusing on.
The stage is set for a major clash with fans. You have 3 things happening all at once within DC or to DC. The first event is David Zaslav being hired as the new CEO of DC's parent company, Warner Media. And he makes a vow to get DC back on track with the 10-year plan by hiring a Kevin Feige-like figure.
Where there will be a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC.
10 years.
It's very similar to the structure that Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very
for the MCU
with Kevin Feige at Disney.
Second, you have Walter Hamada continuing on his path without any indication that he is going to be slowing down. Third, and probably the most baffling event, is that you have Dwayne Johnson making what appears to be a play for the throne via his Black Adam role.
Black Adam has the powers of Superman, but the only difference, well, there's a few differences, but one of the biggest differences is Superman's weakness is magic, and Black Adam's, one of his superpowers, is magic.
Dwayne Johnson has a huge amount of control and say over the Black Adam movie.
Since when is Black Adam the end-all be-all of comic book villains? And since when is he one of the only villains deserving of his own standalone movie?
Bridges a gap from what we had before while also ushering in that new era of the DC universe that Dwayne Johnson's been talking about.
I feel like it's the right direction for the DCEU. Like, The Rock kind of like definitely like has his footprint now on DCEU.
There are moments that DC fans are going to love. I say no more.
Things will never be the same, because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Hey everyone, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this, because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come.
Despite the odds, Snyder fans are inches away from what appears to be the reemergence of the Snyderverse. They spent years fighting for a goal that was not only unprecedented, but that most other fans and influencers believed could never happen. The return of Cavill had signaled that they had won. But not all fans were happy with the way the Snyder movement had handled things. We start to see a rift in the fandom. Some fans despise the movement and have differentiated its members as Snyder fans or the Snyder cult. Despite this dichotomy in the fandom, everyone agrees that Cavill returning to live action is a step in the right direction. But only one day after Cavill's video was posted would David Zaslav make a move that would permanently divide the fandom for years to come.
What did I say? What did I say?
You have to acknowledge how insane this is, how many different butterfly effects had to occur for this very specific event to happen.
This is a big win for DC fans. I think this is a big win overall.
First up, people spazzed out almost immediately. The Snyder thing, they're done with DC now, and this was as if there's some war.
Why'd you show me the f***ing thing if I can't have it?
James Gunn doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Snyder fans are on life support right now, I think.
That's the one good thing to take away.
The DCU is connected.
New era of the DC universe kicks off today as James Gunn is going to announce every single thing for Chapter 1 of this DC universe.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold is one of comics really popular cult called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book. Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
But James wants to come in and say, look at how good of a motherfucking writer I am.
Do not keep Peacemaker and your wife and get rid of Henry Cavill.
This kind of stuff where you're like just talking about stuff ahead of time, I hate putting the cart before the horse.
When there is a hashtag fire James Gunn with 30,000 tweets.
This did it for me. I have personally now seen people make death threats online. This is literally superhero stuff. And there are people out here taking this way, way too seriously. DC is officially dead.
And let me tell you guys, this looks awesome with David Cornsweet in the suit as Superman and a very hopeful score from James Gunn's upcoming
this
movie,
is
guys.
beautiful. So you can look back at all these events and say, well, DC sucked and how did they mess up so bad? But I look at all these events and I see one common theme. Superman and what he represents as a character seems to be at the center of not only the DC universe, but the experiences that surround the events of the DC fandom. The Snyderverse kicked off with the Superman movie that gave fans hope they'd see a well-connected universe. It was also hope that drove Snyder fans to get the Snyder Cut released, and by extension, the restoration of the Snyderverse. It was the character of Superman and the hope that Cavill could return that almost brought Henry back to reprise his role. And now we have a new Superman movie beginning the launch of the DCEU, and there's hope in the fandom that it'll be great. But fans will always stay divided. Some DC fans will forever root for Snyder's return, while others will defend Gunn's decisions even if questionable. But just like Superman represents, there's always hope. And my hope is one day, DC will be able to break free from the constant crisis mode decisions and give fans something special.